All right, welcome back. In this video, we're finally going to talk about what the -- save flag means when we do npm install. I had initially intended for this to be at the end of the last video, but because of time constraints, as I started recording this, I realized that there was some more detail that we needed to talk about and a few other components that I wanted to bring into the discussion, and that it made sense for it to be a standalone video. So the objectives here are to use the -- save flag to install packages and understand what it means, explain what the package.json file does, and then use another command, npm init, to create a new package.json. Let's start by talking about this file, package.json. And to do that, I'm going to open up a nice blog post on the blog of a company called Nodejitsu. And this post explains what the package.json file is. Every single npm package that we've used and that we will use in the future has a file called package.json. So I can show you that first. If we look at our first Express app and we look in the Express directory, there's a file called package.json. And we're going to discuss JSON later on. It stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's just a data type. It's a way of formatting text in a file to represent structure. And what this is a file that contains all the metadata about this particular application or this package, Express. So it contains a description, a name, an author, and then all the different contributors who have added to it. It also contains the license, the GitHub repository URL, the homepage, keywords that can be used to search for it, and probably most importantly, the dependencies. These are all the packages that Express relies on that it needs in order to work. And there's quite a few of them, as you can see here. And this file will collect them all and also explains the versions that are needed. So that's what the package.json file is. It holds metadata relevant to a specific project. And I'll show you one more example. This is actually the same package.json, but this one is on GitHub. It's on the Express repository. So this is the Express code itself being hosted on GitHub. And we have a package.json, and inside of that, here's all the same data that we just saw. But the reason I'm showing it to you is that you might notice that the node modules directory is actually not included. It's not on GitHub, but it is included when we go and look at Express right here. Inside of Express, we have lib and node modules and then package.json and a few other things. But on GitHub, there's just lib and node modules is nowhere to be found. And that's for a very particular reason, which is that when we're sharing code and packages and repositories or big projects, and they depend on 10, 20, or even 100 other packages, rather than uploading all of those packages with the rest of our code, we can just put them in the package.json. And then when someone installs Express, when someone downloads this or forks this repository, makes their own copy, and they want to use it, they'll see what they need to install, but they won't download all of the baggage that goes along with this automatically. Luckily, there's also a really easy command to automatically install everything inside the package.json under dependencies, and we'll also see that later on. I came up with a silly analogy to help explain this idea of the package.json, and in particular, the dependencies section. So imagine that you have a great recipe, a great dish that you make, and I want my friend in Denmark to be able to replicate the meal that I can make here in California. So one option would be for me to go buy all of the ingredients for him, package them all up, pre-measure everything, put it in Ziploc bags, and then put everything in a big box, add in some instructions on how to cook them, throw in some instructions on how to cook the meal, tape it all up, and then go to the post office and pay a lot of money to ship it to my friend in Denmark. The alternative is just to send my friend a letter, and in that letter, we'll just describe the ingredients and the quantities that are needed. And then once that letter gets to Denmark, my friend can figure out what he needs to buy, what he already has, how much he needs of everything, and he can prepare the meal on his own. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. The way that the package.json works is that it's the recipe for the ingredients that are needed for a specific package or library. Rather than sending the contents of all of these individual packages, we just send a package.json that is basically a shopping list for all the packages, and whoever's using the package can then easily go and install all of these. So to wrap all of that up, package.json contains a bunch of metadata about a particular application or a package. And that ranges from things like the name of it, the description, a version number, all the way down to the dependencies, which in my mind is the most important aspect. It contains a list of packages and the version number of each package that's needed in order for this application to run. So that brings me to the next point, which is what does a -- save do? When we install a package with npm install and we add on this flag at the end, -- save, it will take the package name and version and automatically save it into our package.json file if we have one. I'll quickly demonstrate that. I'm going to make a new directory, and I'm just going to call this package.json demo, and then cd into that. And the first thing I need to do is create a package.json file. And I can do that myself by doing touch package.json and then filling out all those fields. But there's an easier way, which is this third little bullet point here, using npm init to create a package.json for us. So I'll go down to my terminal and type npm init inside of the folder where I want my application to exist, in this case package.json demo. I'll hit enter, and I get this message printed out to me, and it says this utility will walk you through creating a package.json file. Basically, it asks me a bunch of questions, like what's the name of my package, and then I type it in, and then hit enter when I'm done, and it will ask me another question. And then it will use all that data to make our package.json at the very end. So for name, it's guessing that we want to call it package.json demo because that's the name of the folder we're in, which is fine. So we can just hit enter, and it will use that. Same thing with version. If I just hit enter, it will use version 1.0.0. It does need to be in this format of some number dot another number dot another number. Description, we'll just do simple package.json demo. Entry point refers to the file where our application starts. And in most of our applications, it's going to be app.js, and that's just a personal preference. In this case, we're not really going to have an application at all. We're just installing packages just to show you how it works. So we can put whatever we want. We'll hit enter from test command and git repository. Keywords as well. We're not going to enter any of that. For author, we can put in Colt Steele. License, we'll just use the default one. And you can see it shows me a little preview of what it's going to do. And then it asks, is that okay? I'll hit yes or enter. And now if I type ls, I have a new file, package.json. So here's the package.json. Let me move it up here. You can see it has our name and our version and everything else that we did, but it doesn't have any dependencies yet. So now let's go and install a new package. We'll do Express. So we just run npm install express and then -- save at the end and hit enter. And you'll see we now end up with a dependencies field here, and it has Express and then our version 4.13.3. And we can install another package like catme -- save. And it adds that in to package.json under dependencies as well. All right, so let's wrap up. The package.json file contains metadata about an application or a package. It's really common to see them and really common for us to create our own package.json using npm init. For every single app we make from here on out, every single real app that's not just a quick demonstration, we'll be using npm init and creating a package.json. And the last important point is that we can use -- save when we're installing a package. It doesn't matter what package, any package, we just add -- save at the end, and that will install it, and then also save it to the dependencies section of our package.json, along with the version that we installed. Okay, in the next video, we're going to keep moving forward with Express.